Hey friends, welcome back to Treadmill Review Guru. I'm Kristen, and today we're going to do a comparison between two very popular treadmills. We have the NordicTrack 1750 and the ProForm Pro 2000. These are both sister brands under the iFit parent company, so they do have the same training content, but there's a little bit of structural and functional differences. So let's take a closer look at some of the similarities and differences between these two machines. Here at Treadmill Review Guru, we try to provide you the in-depth information you need to make an informed buying decision. So we would love it if you would take a minute to like this video and subscribe to our channel. So let's take a closer look at the construction of each of these treadmills. So as you can tell, the 1750 is a little bit larger and a little bit heavier. It is 82 inches long, 63 inches high, and 39 inches wide. It also weighs about 330 pounds and will support a user weight up to about 300 pounds. By comparison, the ProForm Pro 2000 is just a little smaller. It's only 60 inches high, 35 inches wide, and only 77 inches long. So it is just a little bit smaller, and it's lighter as well. The machine itself weighs 262 pounds, and it will likewise support 300 pounds of user weight. So it does have a slightly smaller footprint. If you're, if you have limited space and you need something a little more compact, that is an option. But the 1750 is a little more sturdy and durable simply because it just has a little more meat to that deck. As far as belt size goes, the belt on the 1750 is 60 inches long and 22 inches wide. On the Pro 2000, it's also 60 inches long, but only 20 inches wide. So you've got a little bit more width on the 1750. If you're a relatively average sized person and you're running, walking, jogging, things like that, the Pro 2000 should be fine. However, if you are a larger user or you do run a lot and you have maybe a larger stride, we would recommend maybe looking at the slightly wider belt option. The 1750 does have a larger motor. So it has a 3.75 horsepower motor, and that's tucked up here underneath at the front of the deck, kind of down underneath the console so that the machine will fold. Likewise, the Pro 2000 has the same motor tucked up at the front, but it's 3.5. So there's like a 0.25 difference, which really is negligible. You'd have to be training a lot to really notice any sort of a difference. But it also folds. So they both will fold up when they're not in use, and they're relatively compact when they're folded. And they do lock into place. One other thing that I really like about the 1750 is it has adjustable cushioning. So there's a lever on the side that you can turn to either engage or disengage the cushioning feature. When you turn the cushioning on, the bar up underneath the deck moves down away and allows for more flex in the deck. When you turn the cushioning off, you actually rotate that bar up and it blocks any travel underneath the deck so that you have a more solid surface. If you're an athlete, if you're training maybe for a marathon or a triathlon or some outdoor event, there are people who prefer to train on a surface similar to running outside. So that's a little, a little harder. Whereas if you need a little more joint support, a little more impact cushioning, you can turn that cushioning on and just get a little more travel in the deck. The Pro 2000 does not have cushioning options, and it isn't quite as cushioned as the 1750. So it just is what it is. There's no adjustable feature on it, but certainly it's better than running outside. The 1750 will incline to a 15% grade, and it will decline to a -3. The Pro 2000 inclines to a 12% grade and will decline also to a -3. So there are some just minor differences there that you want to be aware of. As far as overall durability, they're pretty similar. Both NordicTrack and ProForm have the same warranty. So you get 10 years on the frame and then 2 years on parts with 1 year for labor. So let's take a closer look at the console layout and the functionality of the 1750 and the Pro 2000. They both have the exact same 10-inch touchscreen and they both feature iFit content, but the layout is just slightly different. So let's take a look at the 1750 first, and then we'll compare it with the Pro 2000. So let's start with the 1750. So you can see you got your nice 10-inch touchscreen here. It does tilt just a little bit up and down. A lot of times when you first get the machine, that can be kind of stiff, and so people think it doesn't move, but it does move and it'll loosen up with time. And you can also see you have quick touch controls on either side. I actually like that. I like the fact that your incline is on the left and your speed is on the right. I don't confuse the two, and in my mind it's kind of easy to keep them separate. You also have a fan and volume controls down here. Now, your fan on the 1750 is a slightly higher, so it hits kind of mid-chest, maybe part of your neck, and I really like the position of these fans. You can't adjust them, but you don't really need to because they're just elevated slightly. You also have a little ledge right here that you could put a book, or if you wanted to watch something on an iPad or even a large phone, you could put it there. It might block your screen a little bit, so that's something to be aware of, but the ledge is actually quite deep, so it should hold most things. And then down here on your lower panel, you've got start, stop, speed, incline, for more targeted adjustments, and of course your safety key. Another thing that I really like, you do have storage pockets on either side of the screen, but down underneath the console you have a storage tray with 4 little cubbies that you can drop stuff in. But the nice thing about that is underneath it, there's actually a steel bar that supports those uprights. So you don't get a lot of wobble side to side. It just keeps the console very structurally sound. It doesn't wobble while you run, it doesn't vibrate. So the storage tray is nice, but really I love the fact that you have that steel bar under there. And you do have kind of a horizontal support bar here. These heart rate sensors have been disabled because a chest strap is so much more accurate, and now iFit is using heart rate training right within their programs. So that's kind of an overview of the layout of the 1750. Right, so here we have the console layout for the ProForm Pro 2000, and you can see that touchscreen's exactly the same, and it does tilt just a little bit, so you can adjust how you need to avoid overhead glare and things like that. But then the layout is a little different. So on the ProForm Pro 2000, your quick touch buttons are down here at the bottom. They're easy to see and they're easy to reach, but I find that sometimes I will confuse the incline with the speed because one's right on top of each other. I prefer the 1750 layout where you have incline on the left and speed on the right. To me, it's a little more intuitive. And this kind of extra space around the outside of the touchscreen is very shiny. It reflects a lot of light. So not that that's a really big deal, but I just kind of notice it. I like the matte layout on the 1750 a little better. But one thing I do like about the Pro 2000 is the ledge is lower. So if you wanted to place a device here, a phone, maybe an iPad, something else, you could. It would block your quick controls down here, but it wouldn't block your screen necessarily. So it's a little lower on that. It doesn't have that supportive ledge, so anything that you place there, you'd have to make sure that it was secure back and wasn't going to bounce off. That would be the only thing. And then you do have this lower panel down here that's a relatively easy reach. You can see the fan is lower on the Pro 2000. So rather than up here kind of directed up towards your face and your neck, it's down here. I'm not a super tall person, I'm only about 5'5", but this hits like mid belly to chest. It's just a little lower and you can't adjust it. So that is one thing to be aware of. The fan has good power, but it just isn't as effective because it's just placed a little lower on the console. You also have those horizontal bars. But one other thing that you're missing on the Pro 2000 is you don't have that storage tray and you don't have the beam that connects those uprights. So there's a little more wobble here. You can see you just got a little more flexibility as those uprights maybe shift side to side. It's not a huge problem and I haven't noticed bounce while you're running, but it's just something to be aware of. And then you do have the 2 storage pockets on either side. So they're plenty big. You could put a phone there or a water bottle, keys, or whatever it is that you need. And you do have speakers. It is Bluetooth enabled, so you can sync both a heart rate, chest strap, and your headphones. So same functionality as the 1750, just a little bit of a different layout and a few things to just kind of be aware of. So I wanted to demo for you just a little bit of the functionality and the differences between the two machines. So I'm on the 1750 and I have it inclined all the way up to a 15% grade. So this is as high as it goes. I really like incline training because as you can see, I'm walking at like 1.8 miles an hour and I'm already a little out of breath. It's a great way to do heart rate training. If you want to do a target zone training, you can add that incline and you don't have to just run faster. You can kind of add different variables, work through hill work, and strengthen different muscles when you work on an incline. So the other thing I like about the 1750 is it has really nice wide side rails. So it's easy to get on and off, and you can just incline it, walk, run, whatever you want to do. It's really pretty quiet too. I mean, you've got a little bit of motor noise in there and just a slight whooshing sound as the belt moves along the top of the deck, but really not bad. So let me pause this and let's try out the ProForm 2000. Now this I also have inclined to the max, but it only raises to a 12% grade, so it doesn't go quite as high. So I'm just gonna start walking. Let's do the same speed so we can do a straight along comparison. So the belt is a little narrower here. I can feel this is 2 inches narrower, so I don't have quite as much cockpit space, and I've only got 20 inches of width as opposed to 22. For somebody my size, it's not overly limiting, but it is something that you'd want to be aware of. And I also have side rails. They're not quite as wide, but they do have a little bit of that tread on them so that you're not going to slip and fall when you step off to the side. But this machine is extremely quiet. So the motor is quiet, the belt is quiet. There's really not even that much foot noise. And I find walking on it to be very comfortable. So you don't have the adjustable cushioning on this, but it does have nice cushioning just in and of itself. So you can see there are things that we appreciate about both of these machines. They are slightly different, and there's a few important differences to be aware of. We love the 1750 as just the great all-round treadmill. It provides some exceptional features at an affordable price. It does fold up. It has just enough stability that you really feel like you are on a solid machine, but it's not so big that it's going to take over your whole room. So I love the adjustable cushioning. I really like the iFit content. I like those 2 extra inches of width as far as, you know, having a little more space on the side of the belt. And I like the fact that it folds up. So even though you're dealing with something that's a little firmer and heavier, you still have the folding option. The Pro 2000 I like because you get the exact same functionality as far as iFit content. It's the same library. So you can get a slightly smaller, slightly more affordable machine with the same training content. If you plan to mostly walk, maybe some light jogging, you like to hike, there's lots of great hikes on iFit, then the Pro 2000 is the perfect choice because it will provide you everything you need. You save a little money, you save a little space, you still get a really nice folding treadmill. They both have the same 10-inch touchscreen, so you're not getting anything different as far as your interactive content or your screen size on either machine. If you are a runner or you are training for an outdoor event, maybe a little more speed work that you incorporate into your training sessions, then we'd probably recommend the 1750. It just does have a little more power, a little more cushion, and a little more incline option as far as getting you up on that steep grade. If you'd like more details on either of these treadmills, make sure to check us out at treadmillreviewguru.com. We have a full written review with more in-depth information and pictures. We also have a full video review of both treadmills that you can watch for more details there as well. And as always, we do have a link below so you can click for current pricing. If you have any questions or comments, we'd love to know what you think. Make sure and leave them down below. And as always, make sure to follow us and subscribe to our channel here at treadmillreviewguru.com. So my name's Kristen, and I will see you again soon.